day. Time is fast spent. So what to expect? I'll give you a brief of my portfolio, why I chose to address or do a presentation with regards to CV and how to write an outstanding CV. The do's and don'ts of CVs, differences between CVs and resumes, and differences between job CV and academic CV, and building an outstanding professional CV and resume, and the secret, which is the added advantage. I've left the secret for the last, for those who stay throughout this presentation or this webinar. This is a question I'm asking, or I want to ask the audience. How many pages should a CV have? Think about this question. I'll ask you this question in due course. So be thinking about if it is 1, if it is 2, if it is 20 or 1 million pages. Just think about it. Now, why me? Why me? I'm a consultant of the Perfect CV, a company that has served clients globally. This company is a Ghanaian company which has served clients in Asia, UK, Africa, USA, and Canada. Indeed, lots of nurses who want to go to UK to work as a nurse have already contracted, most of them have contracted the Perfect CV to do their CVs for them to suit the UK standard. And I also, apart from job CVs and academic CVs, I also consult for the Perfect CV with regards to cover letters, statement of purpose, and others. So this is just an example of an advert by the Perfect CV. This is how the CV looks like with a cover letter complementing the CV to give it that international look. So the Perfect CV have done several CVs. There are several templates, and these are just a few templates. The African clients. So before this particular presentation, I contacted the secretary to the Perfect CV to give me some of their interactions with clients. So these are an example of African clients. You can see some markings in red, which is the focus. On the left, within this red circle, it says that a good friend in UK actually recommended you to me. And this is a Ghanaian contacting the Perfect CV as a result of a referral from a UK client. Then on the right, within the red circle, the person that referred me said, you did it for him and he's using it to study and work in Canada. So these are success stories, some of the success stories. And it doesn't come cheap because the Perfect CV is a company and they pay utility bills and also pay their staff. So it comes with some fees. You can see the fees or the amount in red, in the red circle. So we have also our UK clients, some of our UK clients. This person contacted the Perfect CV from UK to do a CV for him. And he paid £24 as at 30th June 2023, which translates to 354 Ghana cedis just for a CV. Usually people think CV is just something you can just do haphazardly and just have your way and expect that you get employers calling you and begging you to come for interview. It doesn't work that way. If actually you know how to write CV and do CV, quality CV, trust me, you'll go a long way in getting employers to even beg for you to work for them. So this is an example of another Canada client. Today, Ghanaians like to go to Canada. Almost everybody wants to go to Canada. I don't know what's in Canada. So if you are watching this, if you're on this webinar call and want to go to Canada, then you are at the right place with regards to how to learn the art of writing a perfect CV. This Canadian client paid 20 Canadian dollars to get a CV done for him. So it's up to you to either take this webinar serious or not, because after this webinar, I don't expect anyone to call me, tell me that, okay, Adams, I want you to review my CV. I'm giving you all the secrets, right? I'm offloading all the secrets to you, how to get it done the perfect way. So we quickly go to the don'ts and do's in writing CV. So the don'ts, things you shouldn't do. Over the years, and these mistakes are not done by just graduates or first degree graduates. I've actually seen lecturers, the CVs of lecturers, and I was dismayed because some of the things they put on their CV was so unprofessional. So the don'ts, don't add date of birth or age to your CV unless the employer actually demanded for it in the job advertisement. If not, then please don't add date of birth and age to your CV. Post office address. We are in a technology world. People don't use post office address any longer. It's just a cliche when you see companies letterhead with post office, just a cliche. But on your CV, please don't use post office address. It's irrelevant in the 21st century. Don't add picture unless the employer actually asked the applicant to add their picture to the CV. And as we move on, I'll tell you or highlight some of the advantages and disadvantages when it comes to adding your picture on your CV. And marital status. I've seen CVs where people write divorce, complicated, married, single. Please, the HR or the employer is not interested in whether you are married, single, or divorced, or your relationship is complicated. Unless the employer demands of it, then you add it. Because in Asian countries, especially UAE, Dubai, Qatar, if you are going there, sometimes they demand you to state whether you are married or you are single. Because there are some jobs when you are married and you get it, they will sponsor your spouse. So in such jobs, the employer will indicate in the job advertisement that states whether you are married or single. So take note of it. Then faith, ethnicity, political party affiliation. Please don't do this. Don't add your faith. Yes, for instance, if you hear somebody's name, let's say, for example, somebody is called Muhammad, automatically your mind would be drawn to the fact that that person is a Muslim. But there are people who are called Muhammad who are Christians. And also I've seen some who are even atheists. There is a golden rule with regards to that. In order to limit biases, we don't add faith, ethnicity, or ethnic identity, or political party affiliation. Let's say, for instance, I'm the employer, and I want some stuff, new stuff for my company. And you've been the president of TESCOM in KNUST, when you were in KNUST, and you add it as part of your CV. And I'm an NDC person. Do you think seeing TESCOM, you being a president of TESCOM at KNUST, I would pick or favor you over someone else who is an NDC member or someone who didn't or haven't indicated his political party affiliation? The answer is hell no. You get it? So please, political party affiliation, don't put it on your CV. Yes, at university, you occupied several positions which were affiliated to these major political parties, but please don't add it on your CV unless you are going for a political position in that particular political party. Then you can add it. And sexual orientation, male, female, these days, when it comes to sexual orientation, we have a lot. Please don't add it. And also controversial association. If you are a member of Al-Qaeda or KKK or Boko Haram, please don't add it. It forms part of the controversial association. So any controversial association which you belong to, let's say anti-LGBTQ association, don't add it on it. Don't add it. LGBTQ, let's say sympathizer or something association, please don't add it. These are all controversial associations. Don't add them on your CV. And also your birthplace, don't add it. No one is interested in your birthplace or where you were born. And also hobbies and interests. In the past, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, hobbies and interests were seen as key, one of the key determinants in getting a job. In the 21st century, your hobbies and interests are not that important. They are actually irrelevant. So if you want to save space and also reduce pages on your CV, don't add hobbies and interests. You watch movies, you watch telenovela, you read. Those are archaic. In the 21st century, you don't add those things in your on your CV. And also height, weight, health. It's not supposed to be on your CV unless it is demanded for by the employer. And your GPS location. Usually in place of address, people like to use GPS location. It is risky. Unless the employer has indicated that you should add your GPS location, please don't add it. If you are in Accra, say Accra, Ghana. That's your location, Accra, Ghana. Kumasi, Ghana. Nairobi, Kenya. That's enough of a location. Don't add your GPS location because it can easily be tracked these days with the GPS location. And you don't know who will be reading your CV. So take note of that. And also unnecessary information. Don't add unnecessary information such as passport number, Ghana card number, driving license, unless it is part of the job advertisement. Take note of that. So the do's of writing CV. CV should be visually appealing. You should have a nice template. Mind you, first impression is key. In ALS, I think one of the modules talked about visual appealing template and also first impression. Is very, very key to getting the HR or the employer look at your CV. So take note of that. Then we have full name. You should use your full name. Even if you have 4 names, which are official on your document, use all 4 names. If it is 5, use all 5 names. No abbreviation. Please, no abbreviation. And contact information. Add your email, phone number, Websites, thankfully with ALS, if you are ALS learner, that means that you have a website, because we just did one few weeks ago. So you can add it to your, or you can add it on your CV, and also your LinkedIn address, you add it on your CV. That is if you have a LinkedIn account. And work experiences include internship and volunteerism for those who have limited work experience. Let's say you just dropped out, you just completed university, right? You have no professional or corporate work experience, but you did some internships and you volunteered in other stuff. Please add them. They are all work experiences. So for instance, in ALS, there are people who are volunteering for ALS. It's a job experience. So I expect those people to add it as part of their CV. And the DO's educational background is important. Awards and honors are important. Location, I've already spoken about this. Accra, Ghana, Abuja, Nigeria. That's enough. Then soft skills and technical skills. Technical skills can also be termed as expertise. So take note of that. Still on the DO's, leadership and membership should be added to your CV. These things create an impression of the type of person or the kind of person applying for the particular job. Language proficiency should be added. If you are a nurse, for instance, a nurse in Ghana, you are, as part of ethics, you are required to be multilingual. You get it? Because you'll be meeting a lot of patients from all walks of life. So there are people who, under their language proficiency, only write English. If you have if you are conversant with apart from your native language, if you are conversant with other local languages, you add them you add them on your CV. But if you are, let's say, applying for a job outside, then you can choose to delete the local ones and just stick to the English. If you also know a bit of French or Spanish, then you can add that one. That is if you're applying outside Africa. You're applying for a job outside Africa. Then we have academic research and publications. Please, I'll come to this side in due course, the academic research and publications. Because sometimes if you are applying for a job and you have a job CV, depending on the type of job, you don't need to add your academic research and publications on it because it will be irrelevant. So I'll take you through that when I get to that slide. And the continuous professional development, workshops, seminars, short courses are important. Add them on your CV. And looking at this, with regards to the CPDs, there's asterisks. With regards to the academic research and publications too, there's an asterisk there. It means that there are some jobs or some professions you don't need to add the CPDs. You get it? But if you are a nurse or you are in the health sector, CPDs are required. For those who are in the health sector, you know this. So the next question I want to ask, do you have to add referees to your CVs or resumes? This is also a very controversial question. I'll come back to this. Now we have two questions we are yet to answer, or respond to. So we'll come to that. So CVs and resumes, differences. What are the major differences? UK is accustomed to CV, whereas USA and Canada are accustomed to resume. If you see job advertisements in Canada, USA, they'll use resume. They'll never use CV because they created the term resume. UK created the term CV, curricular vitae. So UK has been consistent with it. It's just, let's say, just preference, you get it, preference, but there are slight differences. For instance, although they are similar, CV and resume are similar, CV is a detailed document highlighting professional work experiences and academic history and skills. Resume is a summary, you get it. And CVs tend to have more pages than resumes. Take note of that, because it's detailed, it tends to have more pages than resume. So the next question, which will be the third question, can you use a CV to apply for jobs which states resume? Let's say you're applying for a job in US and in UK, let's say US and Canada, and it stated resume, and you have a CV. Can you use your CV to apply for that particular job? Although they didn't say apply with a CV by resume. But if it is a Ghanaian job advertisement, as for Ghana, because our educational tuition was in British English, and after school, we go back to American English. We use the words interchangeably. Sometimes the employer in Ghana will say resume, but when you send resume, that person will be displeased. But meanwhile, that person said resume. So if it's Ghana, don't be too concerned about it. But if it is US, Canada, this question is for you. Can you still use CV to apply for that particular job? So CVs, job CVs and academic CVs, there are differences. There are people who use job CV to apply for academic scholarship. Please, it's a no, no. Maybe there you know of people who have used it to apply for, who have used their job CVs to apply for educational scholarship and they had it. But it usually depends on the type of job CV. Now, these are the formats of job CV and academic CV, and it should follow this format. With job CV, your personal information should come first, which includes your name, then your profile. There's an asterisk by the profile. Then we have skills and expertise coming next. Then we have work experience. Then we have CPDs, workshop, which comprises of workshops and seminars, which are also in asterisks. And we have leadership awards, honors, and we have educational background. There are people who place educational background after profile. It is wrong. You are writing a job CV. So the focus should be on things that are needed to get you to the interview room. In the 21st century, employers are not necessarily focusing on educational background. An employer will look at educational background when your skills and expertise don't meet the job description. When your work experience don't meet your job description. Take note of that. But when your skills and expertise and work experience meets the job description, the employer does not look at. They just glance through the educational background. That's why you can go to certain places, certain institutions. You find people who are with different academic background doing something else. You go to the banking sector, you don't see people, you usually don't see people who did business in school. In the academic or in the banking sector, you see people who did biological science, people who did physics, people who did, science courses and art courses in the banking sector. This is because employers are not prioritizing educational background. I'm not saying educational background is not key. It is. But what I'm trying to bring your attention to is this. in the 21st century, skills and expertise or technical skills is more of important than educational background. So for those who are not interested in acquiring skills and think that just by having educational certificate or first degree, you are good to go, please, this is an advice to you. And with job CV, okay, I'll come to that because there is a detailed analysis with regards to job CV in subsequent slide. Then we move to academic CV. With academic CV, it should go like this. Personal information, profile. Profile is an asterisk, which means you can add it or not. Then we have educational background. Why should educational background come after profile? It's because you are applying for education. This is academic CV. So the academic board needs to know from hindsight your educational background. Then your research and publications. If you've done research or you've done some publications, you need to add them. And please, if you've done first degree or diploma, you did thesis. Thesis form or is categorized as a research that you've done. So if you've done first degree thesis, diploma, you did, or HND, you did some thesis that qualified you to get the certificate, please. It forms part of the research. And then the skills and expertise. Then the CPDs, workshops, seminars, then leadership awards and honors, then work experience. Work experience should come last. You get it? Because you are applying for academic CV and not job. Or not job. You're applying for academic, university or education, and not job. So take note of that. So if you look at it, you realize that the format of job CV is different from academic CV. Building a professional CV. Which CV would you prefer, A or B? Put it in the comment section. Would you prefer A or B? These two CVs are from the same person. So a client gave perfect CV, this CV, which is the CV A, which is 1 page. You realize the person clamped everything because that person wants to achieve a 1-page CV. Well, there's a lot of stuff around that. A CV should be 1 page, 1 page. So this person is a female, was trying to put everything together, clamp everything together on just a page, just to achieve 1-page CV. And she took it to the perfect CV and they worked on it. They gave her 2-page CV, which is the B. So looking at the template and how the information on the CV are organized, which one would you prefer, A or B? And between A or B, if you're an HR, which one would you go for? So building a professional CV, create a document. First, you need to create a document which has every information of your professional background, skills, expertise. This is usually termed as the master CV. So you need to first have a master CV. Anything you can think of in your professional life, put it on a document. And this document will serve as master CV. Please don't use master CV to apply for a job. It's not meant to apply for a job. It's meant to have everything, all information on that particular document. And when you are applying for a specific job, you look at that master CV and choose some jobs that you did which are tailored towards the new job you want to go to. And please, if you've worked in several areas, let's say you've worked as a carpenter, you've worked as a mason, then you transition to be a salesperson, then you transition to be a healthcare assistant. From healthcare assistant, you became a nurse. From a nurse, you became a medical doctor. From a medical doctor, you just graduated as a medical doctor. And you are applying for a job as a medical doctor. Please, don't add Mason. Because just because you did Mason in the past does not mean you need to add Mason to it. Because Mason is irrelevant to medicine. You don't have to add carpentry. You don't have to add sales and marketing. What you should add, a job experience you need to add should be the healthcare assistant, because it is health related. Nursing, because it is health related. Then your workmanship as a medical doctor. These are the work experiences you need to add on your CV. So there are people who contact Perfect CV. They've done a lot of work experiences over the past 10 years, 20 years, and they want everything to be on their CV. So sometimes when the staff contact me, I tell them that, listen, they need to scrap some things. It's irrelevant, and they need to explain it to the client. Then don't, by all means, try to limit your CV or resume to one page. If you have very valuable information to add, please extend the page. So if you have a CV which is more than one page, always take note that these should be on the first page. It is important. These should be on the first page. It's non-negotiable. That is your personal information, your profile, your skills and expertise, and at least your most recent job. Let's say you've done, 3 jobs. Your most recent job should be on the first page. The rest can be on the second page. Take note of your first page should have this. The reason why I'm saying this is this. If this information you place on your first page is tailored towards the job you're applying for, guess what? The employer will not even look at the second page and will list you for interview. Because if the employer sees what he or she wants in the applicant on the first page, why go to the second page or third page? You get it? So, and I've already said that there's a reason why I said personal information, and especially skills and expertise. I think I've elaborated more on skills and expertise. So you should know why skills and expertise should be on the first page. And choose a visually appealing template for your CV. Remember, first impression is key. Don't clump all information on one page just because you want to limit the number of pages. Let me tell you something. If you give a reader an impression to strain their eyes, people don't want stress. These days, people don't want stress. So if an HR or an employer gets your CV, and that HR or employer has to strain their eyes to read what you've documented on your CV, trust me, the likelihood that your CV will be rejected is 99%. Use professional font styles such as Arial, New Times Roman, Calibri, Canberra, and others. Desist from using fancy font styles. This is a professional document and not a love letter. So please, desist from using fancy font styles. I've decided not to add the font size to this particular slide for a reason. Because depending on, if I say that, okay, the ideal font size is, let's say, 10.5 or 11, guess what? If someone is using Arial, the font size 10.5 is bigger than New Times Roman 10.5 font size. So when it comes to font size, it is to your discretion. So if you are using Arial You should know the font size that will be very legible for a reader to read, and also save space. If it is New Times Roman, same thing. So when it comes to font size, it is dependent on the font styles we are using. And picture isn't needed on a CV unless it is requested for by the employer. Let's say, for instance, you can choose to add. Let's say, for instance, you are working in ALS as a junior staff. Everyone knows you. Then there is a job vacancy for a senior role. You can apply for it. You want to fill that job vacancy, you can apply for it. In this case, you can add your picture to it. Or you can add your picture on the CV. There are several schools of thought with regards to the picture, adding pictures on CVs. It has its own biases. It has its own advantages and disadvantages, but the disadvantages outweighs the advantages. That is why it is recommended that don't add a picture to your CV. You get it? Don't add it. But if you are applying for a job in a company where the people there are more familiar with you, you can add your picture to it. It makes the CV look nice, actually, especially if you are photogenic, by the way. So this is an example of a CV with a picture on it. You see how nice it looks. Aha. But if you are not photogenic, you go do something because it's nice. Sometimes if the company, the people are familiar with you and you put your picture on it and the picture is scary, Master, before they will call you, they will insult you. Just like the way some of us, we see pictures of people and you say, hey, I with anyway, 20. So it's just prevent all these things by not adding your picture on your CV. Your skills and expertise should contain keywords needed in the job adverts, as well as your profession. Keywords. For example, if you say you are a software engineer, or you are a software engineer, there's no way you can tell me you're a software engineer, you have a CV and there's no coding skills on the CV. There's no GitHub on the CV. It doesn't make sense. It's like saying that you're a teacher, you've worked in schools or education institutions, and on your CV, you can't find students on your CV. You can't find pupil on your CV. You can't find teach on your CV. You can't find subject on your CV. These are keywords that ATS scans. So take note of that. And sometimes some of the job advertisements, there are some keywords they highlight. Add them to your CV as well. References. References are not needed on CVs unless requested by the employer. In the past, 20, 30 years ago, it was a big deal to add references on your CVs. In the 21st century, it's not a big deal. Leave references out of your CV. When you qualify for an interview, at the interview, you'll be asked for your references. But prior to the interview, don't add references on your CV unless the employer demanded of it in the job advertisement. Take note of that. And always use action verbs to quantify your duties, to add value to your work experiences. There are some work experiences is difficult. You realize that that person has really worked, but it's difficult to value the work that person has done over the years because of how that person captioned the duties under each work experience. And this is a key indicator in getting a job or securing an interview. Your CV may not necessarily secure you a job, but to secure you an interview. So the question, how many pages should a CV have? please put your response in the comments section. How many pages? Based on what you've heard so far, how many pages should a CV have? I hope you are putting something, you are putting your response in the comment and chat section. I'll be going through the comment section. I just want to find out whether all that have been said, you people have been able to get the memo. You get it? So which one would you prefer, A or B? Which of the CVs would you prefer, A or B? So you add that one too. I need a response for that one in the comment section. Then the secret, which is the added advantage. CV has got a secret. And I term this secret added advantage. Number one, having a professional CV format and nice template isn't enough. Sometimes you see some CV, the template looks nice, but the information on it is gibberish. So it's not enough. What you put on the CV matters. There are some secrets which, when applied to your CV, gives you an edge over your competitors. And you should be lucky to be on this webinar. So this is another question which I'll ask you later on to respond to. Must you lie on your CV? Must you lie on your CV? Anyway, we will come back to this particular question. So take note of that. So the secret, your profile. You realize that in the previous slides, whenever I mentioned profile or wherever you saw profile, there was an asterisk. It suggests that profile is not essential. If you don't add it to CV, the CV, it takes nothing away. An employer will not necessarily fail to employ you just because there's no profile on the CV. You get it? But if you have it on a CV and it is done right, it gives you an edge over someone who didn't add a profile on the CV. Profile can be personal statements. Some will call it, some will rather say summary, or others will say objective. But I prefer to use profile because it sounds more professional. And your profile is a short summary of your professional experience. And instead of saying 5 years, these are some of the key advantage or added advantage or the secret. Instead of saying 5 years working experience on your CV or on your profile, rather say more than 5 years working experience. It's very important. Always use more than or over. For instance, if someone was born 30th August 2022, it means that that person achieved 1 year yesterday. And today means that person is more than 1 year. Take note of that. A year is 300 and, so 300 plus days. So if a day is added to that year, it becomes more than that year. And this is a trick. Always use more than. Don't give definite years in your profile. Say more than. It creates an impression in the mind of the reader that you have a lot of work experience. Never use pronouns such as I, we, our to start a sentence on CV. I see that a lot on CVs, which is very, very unprofessional. And if you use that CV to apply for jobs in UK or US or Canada, they won't mind you. And your profile should be concise and straightforward. No need to garnish it to be lengthy, because your CV serves as introductory to your CV. Your profile serves as an introductory to your CV. So keep it simple, but keep it simple and powerful. Profile should contain the following: a skill. So use either one or two skills. One skill or two skills. USP simply means your unique selling proposition. So every individual has got his or her own unique selling proposition. Use it. It's a skill. Use it in your profile. You can decide to use two. You can decide to use two skills, but the ideal is one. And the number of years, as I said, don't say in your profile, don't say that, okay, I have this number of work experiences. I worked 3 years as medical doctor, 4 years as a nurse. No. Clump all these years together, sum it up, and say it as your work experience over the years. Profile should contain the following: industry names you have worked or positions you have worked. Instead of saying you worked at Cocoa Clinic, this is a profile, and a profile is an introductory to your CV. Instead of saying you worked at Cocoa Clinic, you worked at GCB Bank, use the industry rather than the name of the institution. So instead of saying Cocoa Clinic, say health industry or health sector. Instead of saying you work in UBA, say you work in the banking sector. You get it? So profile should also contain objective, and your objective should be seen to benefit the company. There are some people, they write objectives as if they want the company to rather send them to school or teach them the skills that they lack. So please, your objective should be tailored towards benefiting the company and not you. So this is just a snapshot of what a profile should look like. This is not a perfect profile, but it gives you an idea of how a profile should look like. For instance, a goal-oriented person with more than 10 years working experience as a software engineer. My aim is to work in an institution where I can apply my knowledge and skills in software engineering to contribute to the advancement of that institution. Simple and powerful. A goal-oriented person is a skill. So that is the USP of that person, the unique selling proposition of that person. And that person has worked for more than 10 years as a software engineer. And the aim or the objective of that person is to apply the knowledge and skills to help the company move forward or to be more successful. So this is a good, not a perfect, but a good profile. So this is just to give you an idea of how a profile should look like. And so quantifying your duties. Duties or job descriptions under work experiences are meant to convey an impression of your skill set. So highlight your skill set in your duties. So don't when it comes to your duties, don't tell, show. There is a statement that don't tell, but show. You get it? You don't need to tell people that you have team management skills that has helped the company. You don't need to tell people that as part of job description or duties that you performed at a company. You need to show or prove it. So how do you prove it? So number one, don't say I managed a team to secure project funding. Don't say that. If you say it, it's mediocre, it's immature. But say manage. Mind you, I said that don't start a sentence with I or personal pronoun. I, we, they. No. Start with action verbs. Managed and led a 50-member team to secure project funding for the establishment of the company's 200 acres of rice plantation. This job description, this duty alone is voluminous. It tells a lot about you, the applicant. It shows that you are a team player. If you can manage and lead a 50-member team, it means that you have team management skills. If you can secure a project funding, it means you are goal-oriented. So if I'm to employ you, I know that you can hit the target. Although he didn't say you are goal-oriented in the duty that you highlighted. You get it. And also negotiation skills. You have it. So just this duty, it shows that you are a team player, you have team management skills, you are goal-oriented, and you have negotiation skills. Because in order to get project funding, you need to have a good negotiation skills. So another example, don't say I do administrative and clerical duties as a secretary. I see this a lot with regards to secretaries. Instead, say maybe you are currently in that particular job. Make over 25 calls to schedule for appointment, as well as address issues of more than 45 clients daily. This is an administrative and clerical duty. You get it? But I've highlighted making over 25 calls simply means that you know how to deal with pressure. You can work under pressure to schedule for appointment. That's what it means. And as well as making calls, you can also address issues of clients. It means that you are multitasking. You don't need to say you are multitasking. In your skills and expertise, you said that you are multitasking. In your duties, you need to show that truly that multitasking that you added under your skills and expertise, you didn't just add it. You actually have that skills. You get it? So it shows that multitasking, conflict management, someone who addresses issues of clients should have a conflict management skills to be able to do that. Because there are some clients, there are issues, it's something else. So if you are able to address those issues, it means that you have conflict management skills and negotiation skills as well. So take note of that. This is just an idea. So if you have a CV now, you should go back to your CV and try tweaking it and making adjustments. So the secret, action verbs. Action verbs are also termed as power words. Action verbs give you an authority over what you do or did at work. It enhances your CV and makes it look more professional and matured. Having stated that, do not overuse action verbs or repeat the same action verbs under the same work experience. It makes it boring. You get it? So you can go on Google, you can just type action verbs. You can get a lot of them. And even Microsoft Word, when you type a particular action verbs and you right-click, you go to synonym. It gives you synonyms of that particular action verbs, which are also action verbs. So examples of action verbs are conducted, managed, authored, oversaw, spearheaded. Instead of saying let's say I wrote minutes, authored minutes. It's more professional. You get it? Instead of saying I gathered people, I did a lot of seminars. No, organized seminars. And in this case, if I say organized seminars, although it's good, it's not powerful. What should I say? Organized more than 5 seminars in a month for the company. You get it? It adds more value and more weight to it. So directed, headed, superintended, supervised, regulated, commanded, negotiated, contracted, administered. All these are action verbs, which are very powerful indeed, and adds maturity to your CV. So we also have keywords. Aside action verbs, we have keywords. Every professional has got keywords. If you're a medical doctor and you have a CV, on that CV, there should be patient on that CV. It's a keyword. Patient is not an action verb or a power word. It's a keyword. Clinicals is a keyword. Vitals is a keyword. Medication is a keyword. Drug is a keyword. Diagnosis is a keyword. Take note of that. If you're a teacher, teaching is a keyword. Student is a keyword. Administration and management is a keyword. Please, teachers, I have to come to this. Teachers, please, your work as a teacher includes managerial skills and administrative skills. You are teaching students of 45. You are managing them every day in school. That is management. You take them through lessons. That is administrative work. So the term management and administration is not meant for people who did HR alone. Please, every teacher should have management and administration as part of it, as part of their skills. It's a keyword, and you can defend it at interview because you are managing students. So these are all keywords. You get it. If you're a software engineer, just as I've said, there are keywords. Coding is a keyword. GitHub is a keyword. If it's Salesforce, there are keywords. So you can go on Google and search for keywords pertaining to a particular job description or your profession. Then you can add it as part of your CV or your CV. So a health professional, I've already said it. Clinicals, vital should be on it. Go on Google and search for keywords for your profession or job position. Add these keywords to your duties. Must you lie on your CV, and why? Share it in the comment section. Must you lie on your CV, and why? Now, this is a secret I'm going to unleash. I'm not supposed to say this, but I'll say it. Must you lie on your CV? It depends. It depends. This is what I do, or this is what I tell people whenever I educate people or I do seminars such as these. Let me say this. Let's say there's a job advertisement. You qualify for the entire, all the keywords. You have it, you've done it. You have the qualification, you have the skills. And there is one skill you don't have. And the company says that that skill is essential. And that is, let's say, Microsoft Excel. You should be proficient in Microsoft Excel. And at the time of applying for that job, right, it will take a month, 30 days, for the deadline of application for that particular job. My brother, my sister, are you going to say because you're not proficient in Microsoft Excel, something you can use 2 weeks to learn if you are serious? So because of that, you will not apply for the job. Apply it. Put it on a CV. I'm saying it. Put it on a CV. Then go on YouTube. You can go on YouTube, type how to learn Microsoft, how to be Excel proficient, or how to learn basic skills in Microsoft. There are a whole lot of videos on that. You can even go on Google and type Microsoft Excel 2019 guidelines and -PDF. You will get a PDF on the guidelines on how to use Microsoft Excel for 2019 version. From kring to kran, you get it, the whole document, PDF. You download it. You just be going through it before the deadline. So please, don't learn some of these things. Having stated this, That doesn't mean that if you are not a medical doctor, you are a nurse. But because I've said this, and they need a medical doctor, you put a medical doctor on it. Please, you can't take one day to be a medical doctor or 1 month to be a medical doctor. I'm talking of skills that you can easily learn. For instance, the company says that you should be proficient in Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word, you can use 1 week to learn Microsoft Word. You go on YouTube, you get it. You go on Google, you can get the guideline, a whole document on how to use Microsoft Word. Why should that deter you from applying for that particular job? When the deadline to that particular job application is a month or 2 weeks. And even after the deadline, you are not going to be called for the interview. It will take maybe some few days to elapse before you are called for interview. Why don't you add it? You get it? So please, these are secrets. So must you lie on your CV? Yes, it depends. When the company is asking for skills that you can easily learn on YouTube, you can easily get the document of guideline and just practice it. Put it on your CV. For instance, SPSS. You can get a guideline of how to use SPSS, which is a statistical model to do data analysis. You can get a whole document on how to do it step by step, how to analyze data step by step. You can get a whole document, and you just be going to within a week. You know the basics. After 2 weeks, you've mastered it to let's say medium level. You are good to go. So please, don't let some skills deter you, especially when those skills, you can easily learn them.